Hey, what's up? What's going on? It's your girl Mary Jane. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please like the video. It'd be greatly appreciated. To all my peeps, to all my peoples, please share the video everywhere. And it'd be greatly appreciated as well from the bottom of my heart. So we are going to be talking about Logan, the movie Logan. Basically, I'm a fan and all that good stuff. I've watched all the X-Men. I'm not an expert at all, so don't believe I am. Don't get it twisted. This is just my review of the movie. Basically, it was kind of, if you looked at the movie, if you watched the movie and you just took the movie as is and it didn't have any questions, or if the movie answered all your questions, then basically it was a 8 to a 9. And then if you really was satisfied, if you really didn't have any questions, all your questions were answered, it would probably been a 10. But basically, I think I'm going to go with a 7. Or maybe 6 to 7, basically. The overall of the movie, basically. It was kind like, the movie started off with Logan. He's a limo driver, basically. And, basically, he's in a limo sleeping, and then some gangsters or whatever tried to rob him for his rims, basically. And he destroyed each and every one of them, basically. But, he didn't destroy them as quick and as fast as he could have. You know what I mean? It wasn't the old Logan Wolverine that we're used to, basically. So, you notice that he's not healing fast at all. So that is a problem. And you see Logan drinking. I mean, he's drinking his ass off. He's drinking his motherfucking ass off in this movie. And it's also like, it feels like, they're saying that the animanium is poisoning him, basically. But I kind of feel like there's two other things that is poisoning Logan. Basically, I think the heartbreak is poisoning him. His hurt, his despair, living for so long and losing all the loved ones that he loved in terrible ways, basically. So I feel like he's filled with a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, and that's also causing his body not to heal. And it's just like, OMG, like, I can't believe this. And then, when, Logan is driving, the business guys, then he's driving the bachelorettes around, basically. But he's drinking his ass off, and he's a driver and he's drinking. But you never really see him eat at all. You never see the professor eat. You see Logan, he eats like Slim Jims or whatever, or beef jerky. So Logan is approached by this lady nurse, and basically she wants Logan to get them to the other side of this place that's in Nebraska, I think. I think it's Nebraska. I could be wrong. And Logan refused to, but somehow he becomes the guardian of this girl, basically, which is Laura. Laura is X-23, basically. And so basically, Logan goes, sees the nurse, and blah blah blah. He talks to her. It's no good. Then he goes back to where him and the professor are living. Him and the professor are living in like this junkyard slash out of the way place, south of the border or west of the border, basically. And you see the professor, he's babbling, he's having seizures, he's weak, he's just rambling on. Then you see Salamander, he thinks that Professor X has like dementia, he has Parkinson's, he has some type of disease or whatever. And basically you find out Logan can't really see. He's wearing glasses. Well, it's like he's aging, and he's weak, basically. So that's just like, oh God, like to see Logan weak, it was just horrific. To see the professor babbling on like he had the best mind in the world, and how he controlled all the mutants and everything, that he's just a babbling fool that's having seizures, which are killing people. When he does have them, basically. And it's just, and then Logan's plan were to get a boat and go out with the professor and basically die out in the sea, basically. And so, and you also see Logan going to get these drugs and all this other stuff. These drugs control the professor's seizures, controls his mind, basically. So basically, I kind of think that the drugs that Logan is giving the professor is basically fucking up his mind and making him have dementia and all that other good stuff. And it's just like, damn, like you see the professor that is down to this guy, basically, that he is rolling around in his wheelchair just rambling, and then Logan not healing like he's supposed to. Logan just a total drunk with no purpose. It's like Logan has no purpose anymore. It's like he's lost again. And it's like he's almost trying to find out who he is, but at this point he knows who he is, and he doesn't want to find out who he is. He doesn't want to be surrounded by anybody. And basically he's in charge of taking care of the Professor X. Basically, you know, he looks at you could tell that he looks like the professor should be this way. You know, the professor should be the professor was the guy that brought him to the light and brought so many other mutants to the light and control mutants and help mutants, and now he's just a babbling fool on drugs, basically. And he can't control himself. He can't even control his powers, because once he has the seizures, he can kill people around him, basically. So it's just like, and then, you know, the mutants are distinct. Basically, the scene is set in 2029, basically. And it's like there's no more mutants growing. There's no more mutants around, basically. They're basically extinct. What you see from what you only see Salamander, and you only see Logan, and you only see Professor X, basically. But then you also know that there is a laboratory where, you know, these military people are keeping the kids where they're being lab grown, basically. You know what I mean? So it's like, what has caused these mutants to be extinct? And basically you kind of think about, okay, what the hell, they had to create something. So at the end of the movie, you hear the professor talking, not Professor X, but the doctor, basically talking and saying that they created, you know, elixir that basically can stop mutations, and basically control mutants, number one. Number two, and then also elixir that can ultimately over time destroy any mutants that are around. So basically you see that going on. So basically, so how are these mutants being poisoned, and how is it getting into them, basically? And how the fuck is Logan not being able to heal, even though he's healing, but he's not healing at a fast rate or at a fast pace, but he's still healing better than most human beings heal anyway. So then you get to the scene where, you know, Logan finds out that Laura's his daughter. But I also remember, like, in the beginning of the movie, that, you know, Professor X is telling Logan that there are mutants. So it's like the professor is still coherent and still have senses to pick up things, but they're not as good as they used to be. And Logan doesn't believe him, or he doesn't care about it anymore. He doesn't want to save or help anymore. That's not his mission anymore. That's not what he wants to do. And the professor always wanted Logan to become like the principal of the school and take his place, basically. It's either Logan, or he wanted what is her name? I can't think of her name right now. What is her name? She's black. But anyways, so Storm. So basically, and Storm did take over the school for a while, but I think he really wanted Logan, right? So anyway, so you like, what the hell is going on with this bullshit? So like, okay, so what is poisoning these guys? It has to be more than just, so basically it's saying that the animanium that's in Logan's body is actually poisoning him. But damn, he's been having this shit in his body for centuries and generations after generations, and it hasn't done anything to him yet. But all of a sudden now it's poisoning him and his blood. Okay, we'll take that. But there got to be some type of other thing. So I'm thinking about his mental abilities. You know, he's not able to sniff. He's not able to see or crawl. You know, he's limping. And then when, you know, the people that are looking for his daughter, which is Laura, which is X-23, when the army and the generals come to fight to get Laura, it's like, you know, it's so difficult for Wolverine or Logan to fight these guys off. It's like he's so weak, he can't do anything, and that's not right. His character should not have went out like that, in my opinion. That he should be able to basically handle these regular people, these linemen. You know what I mean? These regular people. You know, they're not mutants or anything like that. So how come he can't handle them at all? But his daughter's able to handle him with no problem at all. But, you know, she's also, you know, I guess, genetically modified, genetically grown. And basically maybe her body doesn't have the poison in her as well, or it's going to take centuries and generations for her to actually break down. But it does make sense in a way that the professor's almost like 90 years old. So basically he's having dementia. He's suffering from dementia and all this other heartbreak he's probably having. But I have known some people that are in their 90s that don't have dementia, but there's a lot of people that do have dementia, basically. So only a few people I knew that was in their 90s. So, but basically, you're just like, it's a shock to see Logan so weak that he's not able to defend off these military guys that comes to his compound, and he barely gets away, basically. But he's still able to spit out bullets. He's still healing at a faster rate than anybody else. I mean, than any other human, but it's just not fast enough. And maybe the poison's taking over his age. And then basically, you know, the doctor that was growing the kids in the lab, he was also saying that basically it has to do something with corn. And basically you also see that when Logan is at the cornfield with the black guy, which is Eric LaSalle, it was so good to see Eric LaSalle in this movie, and he had a black wife and he had a black son. And you know, basically Eric LaSalle, you know, got basically dismissed off of ER because he didn't want to have a role with a white woman. He wanted to have a role with a black woman to show a positive image of black men and black women together as a family, you know, especially as doctors as well, and also like the Cosby Show. So basically his career kind of like dwindled down when he did that. But it was so good to see him in this movie, and it was so good to see he had a black wife, and she played on a TV show. I forgot the name of the TV show, but she, you know, and their son. So it was so good to see him. But basically they was talking about the corn, and it was in a cornfield. So basically everything is being genetically modified like it is today. And basically the corn syrup, corn elixir is in everything you drink, you eat, basically. And so this is probably helping poison the professor and poison the mutants, where they lose their abilities to control their powers, because you know they're like superhuman, and then all of a sudden, you know, Logan's weak, he can't do this, he can't heal fast, you know, he's wearing glasses, he can't smell, he can't sniff, senses are all off, especially as a wolf. It shouldn't be. But so basically, and then, you know, it's the corn. And so that's, to me, that's what I get from it, because why are they talking about corn? Why is corn in the cornfield? Why does he go to the farmer, which is Eric LaSalle? Hey, baby. And so you're like, you know, what's good with this? So basically you think that, basically. So then if you think about it, you know, Logan was drinking Jack Daniels, and Jack Daniels has 81% of corn liquor. And basically he also was drinking Jimmy Beam, which has 51% of corn liquor. So we don't know how long he's been drinking this shit, and been drinking like that could also help deteriorate his body. And then also his mental issues and his hurt and his defeated type of nature, which he's stopping himself from healing as well. And then the antimonium in his body. So it's a numerous of things. So basically I'm just putting that together or whatever. So basically it's just like Logan's a chauffeur now, and he's taking care of an alien professor. And then you have Salamander, the Sunkeeper. He's instead of tracking mutants and finding mutants all over the world, he's just, you know, playing house nurse to Professor X, basically. So, and basically his part is just to find Logan and Laura, basically. And he does it in a slow, he doesn't do it fast or quickly or whatever. He does it slow once he's captured. But you would think the professor and Logan would think about this, but maybe they believe that Salamander is dead, basically. You know what I mean? So basically, and then you see the professor, he uses his powers to get the horses out the street and control them. And, you know, Logan is shocked because he was like, wow, he still has some ability or whatever. And it's just like, how come he's not using his powers to find out if Salamander's alive or if they're hot on the trail? And basically, when the farmer and his family, which is Eric LaSalle, invites them over for dinner and everything, the professor's like, yes, let's go. And, Logan's like, no, I don't want to go, because he knows they're being tracked. And basically, this family can end up being killed. The black family gets killed, basically, from helping out the white people. So anyways, then you get to, but I think the professor's been on the road. They haven't ate. He just wanted a little normalcy, basically. A little back to normal, that family environment. Because basically, the professor has always been surrounded by people, kids and children, and creating that loving, safe environment, but knowing that this is not going to be a safe environment for the family that they're going to. So basically, you see the professor really is itching to go, basically, and they do go. And the professor's funny too as well, when Logan trying to tell him to take his pill, and he hasn't been taking it, and he has a seizure, and the professor's like, I took it, see, I took it this time. And it's like he takes his pills like a little kid, like a child. And him playing that character was kind of funny as well. But so anyways, so they go to the house, so that they're having dinner with the family, and we know what happens to the family, which is awful. But basically, earlier in the episode, or earlier in the movie, the professor's always talking about the Statue of Liberty, basically. And Logan says that was a long time ago, them days are over, as he tells Professor X. And it's just like, Logan is just so different, but he's killing, and he's killing viciously. And at least that's one thing that he's doing in the movie. He's killing viciously. And then to see him and his daughter fight in the first scene, basically, and how how she has the adamantium on her feet and her hand, and basically how the professor says, oh, she's the mother, and it's to basically protect her children, and basically to give her support from the claws that she have in her feet, basically. And she's basically just like Wolverine, basically, Logan. And the professor says that, but the professor was telling Logan that there are mutants, and basically, the professor tells Logan, that's your daughter, basically. And Logan really doesn't want to hear it. He really doesn't care. But at this point, the professor is itching and pushing Logan to make sure that he takes care of Laura and get her to a destination. And Logan's also pissed about seeing these magazines, these comic book magazines about the X-Men. Basically, he believes it's bullshit and all this other stuff. And then he looks at the magazine, he figures out the destination that Laura X-23 is trying to go, as where he's already been, basically. And he feels like it's nothing there, it's bullshit, basically. And so it's just crazy. And then how they throw up, the cowboy film, and then them tracking them down to the hotel. But it was nice to see when Laura went to the store, just like her father would, got her a power drink, a Monster drink, I believe it was, and got some chips, got her a pair of sunglasses. And once the store manager tried to stop her, she was about to kick his ass, and Logan catches her and stops her, basically. And then Logan ends up stealing the beef jerky and the cigarette, and the blunt, or the Philly, or the cigar, basically. And then also when Laura was on the horse, and she was upset that it stopped playing, and she was trying to beat the fucking machine up, something that Logan has done in the past, but not on a machine, on a horse or whatever. And he said, this is your last ride, and put the quarter in. And then seeing Logan, take care of the professor, put him on a toilet and all that other stuff, it's just like, damn, this is where we come to, this is where we're gonna go. But Logan has been killing niggas like viciously, and his hands are viciously abused, and the blood, all that shit was nasty. But to see his daughter to be, and then she talks, and she's like a genius. She learns to speak English this fast. She speaks Spanish. She's really connected to the professor. And the professor also tells her that Logan wants to kill himself. Don't let him kill himself, basically. And she feels a bond with the professor. She feels a bond with Logan, basically. So anyways, it's just like, oh. So, basically, Logan is protecting Laura and trying to get her to a destination. Basically, he has taken over the role as her reluctant guardian, basically. And he ain't feeling it, but he's going to do it, basically. He's up for the task. And he does fight his ass off. And basically, so when they get to the farmer's house or whatever, and, the people that are looking for Laura, and then you get to see Logan's clone, which is X-24. you get to see his clone or whatever, and his clone is basically beating the shit out of Logan. At first I thought it was Logan's brother for some reason. I thought it was his brother, whatever, but it wasn't his brother. You know, Ray Donovan. But anyways, so it was just like, damn. So now the whole family, the whole black family gets killed, which is fucked up. But you know, Laura survives, and she survives with the iPod or the Apple phone and the music with the headphones. She's chilling, something that she hasn't experienced because she's been a caged animal. And plus, she's filled with rage, and Logan is filled with rage. So that really much helps Logan get through and survive as far as he did because of the rage and the madness he had inside. So basically, the professor dies there. You know, they bury his body. And then, you know, Eric LaSalle, he but he injures Logan's clone, which is X-24, and shoots him with the shotgun in the head, basically. And first ram him with the car, with the Jeep, the truck, and then shoots him. And then he turns the gun to shoot Logan because Logan had invited these people there. So basically, it was a lot. It was very violent. So that's why it's rated R. So Eric LaSalle, he dies as he's trying to kill Logan, and plus he has no more bullets left. So Logan and Laura, they bounce, Blase in the third, and Logan is just beat down. They bury the Professor X. He's gone. It's like, damn, what is gonna go on? This is it. So anyways, it's just like, damn, so what happened? Like, damn, Logan's fighting his ass off, but the young Logan would have killed his clone X-24. But basically, he's strong. But, you know, when we get to where Logan gets to the kids, you got the little girl, Laura, X-23. She's driving the car or whatever. So that was cute. Logan goes to the doctor. The doctor is, like, amazed to see Logan because there's no more mutants around. And it was just like, wow, you know, it wasn't like before where the doctors would be scared and call the GIs, you know what I mean? So basically, Logan needs some rest and he sleeps for days, basically. They finally get to the location with the other kids. So you see the other kids in their power, basically. And Logan, you know, he bonded with Laura after this time, you know. But she was still kind of pissed with him because he tried to bounce on her and leave her. But the car broke down and shit. This is when they're at the farmer's house. But she steals another car. And Logan says, you just can't take shit. Logan, how can you say that to her when you just take shit? So anyways, you know, they get to the location. And it is what it is. It's just like, damn. But then you see Laura, X-23. She's able to take on the X-24. The clone of Wolverine, basically, because, you know, the military and the doctor end up following them to that location, basically, and trying to get the kids, basically. So basically, Laura is beating the shit out of X-24, and it was so good to see her fight and how she fights and how vicious she is, just like her father. I mean, fucking motherfuckers up, basically. And so basically, you be like, damn, how is she able to handle X-24, because that is a clone of Wolverine. Basically, he probably was programmed not to kill X-23 or Laura because he was just programmed to. And basically, he's nowhere near as strong as Logan was when Logan was young or was in his prime, because the way that he was shot with the bullets of the shotgun, and it took him like a couple of days to heal, and he was just out of it. That would have never happened to Logan in his prime or anything like that. So it was just like, okay. So we'll see what's good. We'll see what's going on. And so basically, she ends up using that the bullet that she confiscated from Logan so he wouldn't shoot himself in the head. And basically, she takes that bullet, she put it in an empty gun, and she kills X-24, Wolverine's clone. Basically, I don't know how that antimanium got that hot for it to kill and split open his head. So he's dead. And then the way Logan is killed with the tree, like, my God, he could have went out a better way. So basically, you know, Logan's clone X-24 takes him and drags him into a tree, and the tree stump goes into his body, whatever, to pierced his heart, his chest, his stomach, his organs. He's already not healing, basically. So he basically dies on there. But his daughter, Laura, she chops him down, gets him off, and they had a burial for her, basically. Burial for Logan. And they turned and it was like when she said the nice little prayer to Logan and what she said about him, basically. And then she turned the crucifix upside down, so it stands for X. It's like, is he really dead? Is he gonna come back as somebody else? It's just like, damn. So basically, it was so amazing to see that the kids got away, not one fatality. So that shows you Logan was still strong because none of them kids got killed. And plus his daughter was on it. And them kids had powers too as well. But all the kids escaped without any injury. So we'll see if they're going to start off with a whole new X-Man. Whole new everything, basically. I can't believe Professor X is dead. So basically, do you think that it's the corn syrup that is killing them? Isn't that kind of like close to us today, like with all the GMOs and genetic modified things that we are eating, microwaves and stuff like that, and how so many people are being diagnosed with cancers at early ages, heart attacks? It could be from, so the food that we're eating. So were they trying to send a message that the food that we're consuming, basically, no matter how strong and healthy we are, or how super powerful we believe that we are, we're ultimately going to deteriorate if we keep eating shit with corn syrup in it. And so basically, and you think about corn syrup, basically, hinders Professor X abilities, but also Salamander, or the Sunkeeper, also believes that, Professor X was suffering from other different diseases as well. And do you think that Laura should have been as strong as she was to fight X-24? And do you believe that Logan was that weak that regular citizens could hurt him and do damage to him and shit like that? You know what I'm saying? So anyways, you tell me your take, and you tell me about, do you think it was the Jack Daniels and the Jimmy Beans? It was like, okay. And so basically, also the medicine that Professor X was taking, did that have a part to do with it? But overall, I'll give it a 6 to a 7, just because I had a lot of questions and things didn't add up to me. And I would say that's my opinion, a 6 to a 7. But if I didn't have any questions, or if I just took the movie as is, I would probably give it an 8 to a 9 in my opinion. But it's so sad to see Wolverine go. OMG. And basically his daughter his daughter was, in a laboratory. She was creating a laboratory, basically. So, but she has his genes, because basically the doctor that is, that created these kids, he's basically the son of the doctor that started all this, basically, I think, and the other episodes of X. I forgot his name. I should have wrote it down, right? So you tell me what you think. Please like and subscribe and share the video. Be greatly appreciated. Yes, I do love comics. I do love all this shit. But I can't believe Wolverine is gone, son. Peace, deuces. My peeps.